I'm going to tell you two stories, two uniquely American stories for our time. Two stories that are improbable, but not impossible. One story begins at the end of the Civil War with a man named Amos Howard, who was 15 years old. Amos was born a slave, and Amos was my great-great-grandfather. Amos had a son, and his name was Watt. Watt had a son. His name was Casey. And Casey did what so many children and grandchildren of slaves did, what many slaves themselves did when they got their freedom. He became a sharecropper. He eked out a meager living working a patch of Texas land that he did not own. But like every great story, there's a twist. Casey Howard had, to borrow a favorite word of President Obama's, the audacity to get a great job working in the new Lone Star natural gas plant in Texarkana. It was a factory job, which Pittsburghers know a lot about, and it changed the course of a family's destiny. But because of that job at Lone Star Gas, they had enough money with the help of an ROTC scholarship to send a son to college, a sharecropper's son going to college. And that's an improbable but not an impossible story. That son's name, Casey, and Sarah's sixth child, is Marvin Howard. And Marvin Howard is my father. So during those years when Casey Howard is rewriting his family's history, our second story begins, and that's in 1921. In a great American city, a man named Andrew Bloss opened a for-profit accounting school with a simple name, the Pittsburgh School of Accountancy. And you know what? It was a success. So much so that the school started adding new programs, and by 1935, the school's third president, Richard Kuhn III, decided that the Pittsburgh School of Accountancy was no longer a fitting name because it wasn't just a school of accountancy. It was a school of business. And for the school's new name, President Kuhn had the audacity, there's that word again, to name the school after another great American story, the story of a man named Robert Morris. That man sailed from England at the age of 14 to make his fortune. A fortune that he used to help a ragtag bunch of colonial soldiers defeat the world's greatest army and give birth to a dream that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Indeed, that dream the Founding Fathers fought and died for, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, was, for many people, a dream deferred, in the words of the great African-American poet Langston Hughes. But people like Casey Howard and his son Marvin Howard started to make good on that dream. Marvin went to college at Prairie View A&M, and through ROTC became a commissioned officer in the United States Army. And then he went on to fight in Vietnam while Carolyn was pregnant with that second child, me. Remember our second story? Now there's a twist in that one too, because during the 1960s, when Marvin Howard was going to college and becoming a soldier, Pennsylvania changed the requirements for accountants to sit for the CPA exam. You had to have a college degree. So the McCartan family, which at the time owned the Robert Morris School of Business, transitions the school to nonprofit junior college status. So this is a great American story for our time. It's an improbable but not an impossible story. It's improbable to go from a for-profit school of accountancy to a national doctoral university. It's improbable to go from the great-great-grandson of a slave to being the president of one of the finest universities in America, Robert Morris University. Our stories are improbable but not impossible, and that's what makes America great. These are stories of the American dream, ladies and gentlemen. We can share that dream with the world, and it is a dream that will no longer be deferred. RMU can do better because RMU is a great American story, and because RMU is a great American university. Robert Morris University, your university, is now nationally ranked number 188 on the U.S. News and World Report list. Not too shabby for old Bobby Moe, eh? We will always be Robert Morris University, however, and we will remain true to the values and character that brought us here today. But we will strive to ensure that there is a place for the student who is first in their family to go to college, a place for that student who has aced their AP exams, a place for that single parent mother who can only earn a degree if she can take classes online. We won't do it alone. We will do it in partnership with the business world, with government agencies, with local communities, and professional organizations. RMU will be the preferred partner for corporations, organizations, and professionals in the Pittsburgh region. This is our story, ladies and gentlemen. This is Robert Morris University's story. This is a great American story for our world. It is an improbable but not an impossible story. And let me say that one last time, it is an improbable but not an impossible story. Go Colonials, and thank you very much.